Hey, wife friend, welcome back to the Believing Wives YouTube channel. I'm Deborah Cheek, founder of the ministry, and I'm so grateful that you are here with me. On this channel, you can expect practical tools and biblical strategies to support your growth as a godly wife. We're in the midst of a series entitled Subtle Marriage Killers. This series is about the things that we don't talk about that lead to distance and division in our marriages. Last week, we talked about apathy. It's a serious marriage killer. And I encourage you to go back to that video so that you can understand it and fight well against it. This week, we're going to attack another subtle marriage killer that's been attacking marriages since Adam and Eve. That subtle marriage killer has been destroying relationships from the beginning of time. And guess what it is? Pride. Pride is what caused Lucifer to be separated from God. Pride caused King Saul to lose his kingdom and a great relationship with David. Pride caused the Pharisees to miss the Messiah who was right in front of them. That's what pride does. It blinds us. It deceives us. It destroys. It infiltrates relationships that could be powerful and effective and renders them powerless. The Bible says pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall in Proverbs 16:18. Yeah, pride is dangerous. It divides, it separates, it destroys. You may be familiar with pride or maybe one of its close relatives, envy and jealousy. You can be sure that wherever you find pride, envy and jealousy are in close proximity. You will also certainly find strife nearby because once again, pride separates. How does this show up in marriage? I'm glad you asked. Pride makes you feel that your spouse owes you something. It makes you feel that you are right all the time and your spouse is always wrong. Pride keeps you from forgiving and asking for forgiveness. Pride keeps score, and somehow it makes sure that the score is never tied. It keeps you in competition and not in covenant. Strife, arguing, fussing, and discord is a sure sign that pride is in play. I can't reiterate this enough. Pride is destructive. It causes us to be stubborn and stuck. Maybe you've never considered how pride can be at work in a marriage, but I assure you it can. Many couples have ended up divorced, not because they lacked love, but because they were unwilling to humble themselves, to let go of pride, and reconcile. They would not forgive or extend an apology. They weren't willing to admit fault. They were more concerned with how they looked than what was actually going on. They wanted to prove a point or make a statement more than they wanted the relationship. In many cases, pride won the battle, but they lost the war. Marriage requires humility and submission, things that are the total opposite of pride. No matter what you've achieved, accomplished, or mastered, you still have to learn to submit to your spouse. There is a give and take in marriage that means in order for us both to win, we have to be willing to let some things go and not win every argument. I've done an in-depth series on submission, and I encourage you to check it out. But I'll end with this. I want to sum up this piece about humility and submission with just this point. Submission is recognizing that there is a mission, something that my husband and I are supposed to accomplish together, and getting under that mission to lift it and Christ up over myself. That's biblical submission. Before we close, I want to give you a few signs that pride has entered your heart regarding your spouse and your marriage. You find faults, lots of faults, with your spouse. You're more concerned with the image of your marriage than actually repairing the marriage. You can justify all of your actions, but condemn all of his. You think your spouse owes you something, or you deserve things, or you want all the attention, and somehow you've bought into the happy wife, happy life doctrine that just isn't biblical. Or maybe you think you can fix everything, handle everything, and do everything. And it results in burning you out and little time left for your spouse or your marriage. You do it all yourself because no one can do it like you want it done, or they can't meet your expectations, or it'll be better if you just do it yourself. And the last sign of pride that I had to battle is that you're selfish. and sometimes in ways that you didn't even realize. There are many more symptoms of pride, and I encourage you to ask God to search your heart so that He can reveal them to you so that you can deal with them. Be vigilant to rid your life of any pride that you find. You've got to humble yourself, and then you can watch God work in your life and marriage. I want to end with this. Pride is a sign that we lack trust in God. When we are prideful, we think that we can do things better than God can, so we don't have to trust Him to do it. We want to oversee things, make them happen, and carry the world on our shoulders. But we were never meant to do that. It may be a little scary, but the way to overcome pride is to grow in your faith in God. 1 Peter 5:7 reminds us that we can cast our cares on God because He cares for us. We don't have to fix it all. We don't have to make everything happen. We don't have to run it. We can trust that God will do what needs to be done and submit to His perfect will and plan. Submit to God, dear friend. Choose to do it His way. As you do, you'll see pride leaves your heart, and with it will go some of your stress and worry. Let's overcome the enemy of pride this year. Let's destroy it so that it doesn't destroy us. Keep growing and keep applying the things that you're learning. Remember, changed wives change lives.